Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing the Lurking Underneath HCE map guide. Let's get straight into it. So I know there are a lot of map guides out there, and a lot of those are not voiced over or they're just kind of old. So I wanted to bring you guys some new ones because that's what you have been asking for. And I wanted to bring it to you guys in a very unique kind of approach. Now you're probably wondering what I mean by that, and basically what I'm going to do is show you guys all the pulls that I know, and I might be going over a certain pull multiple different times just to show you that there are different ways to do it. It might take a little bit longer, but I hope that it's really helpful to a lot of people who are just starting HCEs. And I'll also tell you, which pulls work on which level maps. So like if something works on a 16 but it doesn't work on an 18, I'll make that very clear. Overall, though, I just want to make this map guide geared towards beginner tanks up to 1700 IP tanks, just because all the HCE guides all have, someone wearing 8-3 masterpiece items and their stuns last, 30 seconds over here, and that's something that everyone in the HCE community has clearly. But in all seriousness, this map guide is to be helpful towards the average player who wants to either get started in HCEs or has been doing them for quite a while now and just needs that extra bit of help with the maps. So let's go over what we're going to need for this map. It's pretty simple. We just need to bring the standard tank build. If you're not familiar with that, I went over it in one of my last videos, Albion Online Beginner's Guide, How to Tank in HCEs. I go in depth about the abilities, so that would be helpful if you are not sure. But then for the backpack, it really doesn't matter. You could bring anything you want. I always bring a satchel of insight because I want the fame over the money. Like, the fame is very important to me. And then for the food, you're going to want to bring a pork omelet. This is to reduce your cooldowns. And you can also bring a beef sandwich for the boss if you don't have a lot of spec in your armor. But the pork omelet is preferred. You're going to want to bring at least 10 poisons, if not more. That's just to make sure that you always have, extra poison just in case. You won't use all 10 of them, but just bring as many as you can. And then you're going to want to bring the standard skip set. It's pretty simple. Went over that in one of my other videos. And then for the boss, you're going to want to bring a broadsword and either a catif or Astral Aegis shield. The Astral Aegis is preferred, but I can't afford an A3 one right now, so I just use the catif shield in replacement, but the Astral Aegis is better. And one quick thing, you do not need Skinner boots for this map. So right when you start off, there's going to be a bunch of rats. All you have to do is just round them up, and then use your W to stun them, and then Q to do a quick attack. It's okay if a few of them hit you, but don't let more than 3 or 4 hit you, otherwise they can do some decent damage. So for the skeleton, there's going to be 2 ways to do this one. First way, you could throw some poison, and use your F ability to dodge when the first attack comes at you. Use your E to stun when the second attack comes at you. Use your Q to establish aggro, get your 4 hits on the skeleton, and then he should use this ability, use your W to cancel it, run away, and use D when the arrows come at you. And this is going to be 1 rotation. It can take anywhere up to 2 to 3 rotations usually if you have the right amount of DPS. But all you have to do is just go ahead and repeat the whole thing. So go ahead, use your E, Q, get your 4 hits, and then stun. Obviously, adjust accordingly. I didn't need my stun, but I was going to use my F to dodge the next arrow. This pull will work on any level map. The second pull, all you have to do is run up to the skeleton and then start hitting it. Your tornado will start attacking it. You're going to get 4 hits, use your E to stun, so it'll be an extended stun. Get your 4 hits again, and then use your W, and he'll be stuck in place. And once that happens, you can go far away so you don't take any damage. Try to keep it away from your allies, but the arrows are random. They just go anywhere pretty much, so there's not much that they can do other than dodge. This pull will work on any level map, but the first pull is a bit more effective. So now we can move on to the rats. There's 2 different ways you can pull this. You can either have a DPS do it, or you could wait until this rat right here moves all the way to the right, throw your poison at it, and then once only the rats come, you can use your W or your Q ability. I'm not going to show a DPS pulling the rats because obviously they do the same thing just with one of their abilities. Usually it's the Expo. Now make sure you avoid the Scorpion because they can be a pain in the butt to deal with. You might have to ask one of your DPSs to reset the archers, but for this pull you use F to go into them. Once they're about to shoot you again, you use your E ability, establish aggro with Q, get your 4 hits, and then once they aim at you, then you can go ahead and use your W and then run away. Very similar to the pull earlier. The only difference is that I didn't stun them when they were using their arrow abilities, and that's just going to buy you some time to run away. But we have to go in for a second rotation, so we kind of just repeat what we did. And at this point you can pull the rats once they have really low health, or you could wait till they're all dead. It's really just personal preference, but all of this is going to be the same, and this is going to work on any level map. Now at this part, the new meta is to skip. I will show you that in a second, but first here is an older pull. I personally like this pull on lower level maps. It's pretty easy to do, but like obviously 16 through 18 it's going to be a lot more challenging. But basically what you're going to want to do is wait for this scorpion to pass by the rat in the top right corner. And once he gets to that area, all you have to do is throw poison at this bottom right corner rat. We're going to get those rats, use our F ability to dodge the archer's attack, use our D ability. Sometimes you'll have to use your W on higher level maps, but use your E to go ahead and stun the archers, Q to establish aggro, R to decrease incoming damage, and then get your 4 hits and use your W to root that mobs. I kind of messed up here. I didn't want to root them when they use their arrows because I wanted to use that time to get away, but there's different variations and you'll get used to doing that. And a lot of times in HCEs you have to improvise. But all we have to do is finish off these archers, and then I'll speed up to the next part. So at this point you just gotta wait for the scorpion. You can either go in from the bottom or top, it depends on where he is in the patrol. But so you can take out these rats and then slowly make your way to the south corner, and the only thing you have to worry about is this rat. If you aggro it, it will aggro that archer, so you need to make sure that you wait till it goes as far away as possible from the archer and then you aggro it. Here you might have the wolf, so all you have to do is use your E ability after using F to slide past him and then get 3 hits on him. As you get 3 hits, wait for the spray, use your D ability so you don't die to it, hit him again well behind, and then use your W to root him. And then what you're going to do is just stand in front of him away from your DPSs, because the spray will insta-pop them. Now don't do what I did with the rats, because this is a lower level map and I was trying to speedrun it. But so we're going to go ahead and show the skip now, so if you don't want to do these pulls, then you can go ahead and use your skip. Now for the skip, you're going to want to pull the rats in the top right corner, so all you have to do is get DPS to do it, or you could come over here and throw poison at the rats when it's safe to, and then just bring them back to this area and stun them. After you deal with the rats, you can just go ahead and equip your skip set, and what you're going to want to do is use your W skill and then your D and F ability. And all you're going to have to do is just run past all of the mobs that are in your way. So I go ahead and use my W, and then I use my D, and then F. And we just run past all of these mobs. Now you need to grab the rats that are behind you, those 3. Make sure you don't pull them when the wolf is coming by, because that can cause some big problems. And I mean, it's not that hard to deal with the wolf, but you just don't want to do that. So you're going to see that there's 2 wolves. You need to make sure that you wait until they meet before trying to pull them, otherwise they will kill you guys. And you need to use your E ability to go ahead and stun them, so their sprays will be in sync. Get 3 hits. By the time you get 3 hits, they should spray. Use your D to go ahead and get past it, hit them behind, and then use your W to stun them. And make sure that you're standing away from your DPSs, so when they spray again, it's going to be towards you and not your teammates. Now that pull is going to work on any level map, and now you need to take care of these skeletons. You can run directly into them if you're in a lower level map, but if you're in a higher level map, make sure that you just avoid them and kind of round them up, and then use your W ability to stun. It will do a lot of damage. It can insta-pop you if you're not careful. Now for this mini boss, you're going to need one of your DPSs to reset them if they come at you, because obviously you don't have any invisibilities. But once they reset them, they're going to walk back to the middle of the room, and this is when you need to hang to the left and squeeze past this little corner area and stay here. I'm pretty sure that the healer was lagging, so he kind of messed up here and needed to go back. But we don't need the healer for this pull, so all we have to do is use our F ability to get past them, stun the swordsman, and then stay away from the skeletons and use your Q to kill the aggro. Your 4 hits on the swordsman, and then use your W to interrupt his ability, and he's rooted. And I didn't use my D to get away, but you should use your D ability to get away if you're on a higher level map. And now at this point, all you have to do is repeat the rotation when your root ends. If you get really close to the swordsman, they're going to go ahead and use their AoE attack, so you can use that to your advantage if they become unrooted. Then you can use it to buy you some time for your next stun. Now that pull is really safe. You can do it on higher level maps. I'd probably recommend it if you're taking your time and not trying to go fast, because all it is just one swordsman and a couple skeletons. Now for this pull, you're going to want to wait until the swordsman gets close enough, and then you can use your F ability to dodge the arrow, and then use your E ability to stun all the mobs, and your R ability to decrease incoming damage from the skeletons. Get your 4 hits, and then use your W to stun, and E to run away. Now my timing on this pull was pretty off. When you want to use your E ability, you want to use it when the swordsman is about to attack you and the archer is about to shoot you again for the second time. That's when you're going to want to use your E. And then also, you're going to want to use your D a little bit later than I did. I used it instantly, and you should wait a little while just so that way the archer can actually shoot its arrow and you'll block it, because this I didn't. But just go ahead and repeat the rotation if the mobs are not dead after the first rotation. Now, you could take the swordsman from the last pull and do the same exact pull, but with it in here. But I don't entirely like to do that because it just complicates things a lot more, and doing them as 2 separate pulls is a lot more safe. Now, quickly getting into this pull, use your F ability to dodge all the skeletons and swordsman, use your E and then your Q. You establish aggro, get your 4 hits, and then you can use your W to go ahead and stun everything, and you can use your D to get away. It just makes things a lot easier just so you don't get insta-pop from the skeletons. And then you just kind of have to wait for your DPS to do all the work here. You can go and destroy the chest and just kind of run around, do what you want. And once the stun is over with, you can go ahead and do another rotation and go ahead and use your E ability to stun, get your 4 hits, and then use your W to root the enemy. Now at this point, you're going to want to skip. All you have to do is use your D and F. You can use your W as well. Here I just didn't. But just press D and then F and run past all these mobs. Now, you don't want to use your E here just because there's 2 arrow or archers, and they can insta-pop you if you get hit by both arrows and do not invis. Then you can gear up once you get to this point. Now, once you get here, you can go back downward and wait until the mini-boss is coming back towards the skeletons in the north corner, or to my left. And as you can see, I kind of just wait here for a second before taking aggro on the skeletons. Because if you time this wrong, like, you can get killed pretty quickly. These skeletons will do a lot of damage. And as you can see, I even took a lot of damage, but it's just because I was waiting for the CDs on my D and F. I didn't have them. But so you want to go ahead and bunch these skeletons up as much as you can while avoiding the mini-boss, and then bring them back to your DPSs, and your DPSs basically can do all the work. And if they don't start attacking, then just go ahead and use your W to stun, but they usually will be able to kill all the skeletons by the time they get to you. Now for this next part, you're going to want to go ahead and use your poison on the swordsman, and then use your F ability to go ahead and go a little bit to the right, and your E to stun them. But I accidentally messed this pull up, and I used my E a bit too late, so I missed the swordsman in my stun. But it was okay because I got my 4 hits, and then just stunned, well, rooted the swordsman and archer together, and you're in a very good position. And you just have to wait until you need to do another rotation, but your DPS should be able to kill them fairly quickly, but if not, then usually it'll take at least a second rotation. And while you're doing this, if you know your DPS, you can tell them to go ahead and pull the skeletons on the staircase, but if you don't, then you can just wait until after you kill these mobs to do them. And then right away, you're going to see these 2 wolves, they're patrolling. Sorry, there's a little bit of lag. But you just need to ask your DPS to reset the mobs, the wolves specifically, and then what'll end up happening is they meet in the middle, and you just use your F ability to go ahead and dive right into them. My timing is a little bit off, but I just use my F to go ahead and link them up, and then I stun them, use my R ability to decrease incoming damage, and then got my 3 hits, use my D to run past all of them, and then got 1 more hit and stun them. As you can see, the bag really screwed me up here. That's not supposed to happen. But then go ahead and keep using your Q ability to keep aggro and wait for the wolves to spray at you, and then use your F ability to jump over them. And you should have your E ability by now, and then get your 4 hits and stun again. And just keep repeating rotations if you need to, but I was typing here, I was trying to tell the guys, like, oh, the bag screwed me over. So then, after that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the skip. Now, for the skip, you're going to want to be very careful because the archer can auto-pop you. Same with the skeletons, they can kill you instantly. So what you have to do is use your W ability, and then use your D right away, and then use your E into all the mobs, and then R just instantly once you do that, and then F when you're running past the wolves. Now, you can just do it where you do your D and then F first, and E obviously before that, and then use your R at the end, but I just prefer to do the D and F as my final one because it gets me pretty far when I skip, and I don't know, I just am a lot more used to it. You can play around with it and see what you like the most. Now, that part is all pretty much going to be done the same way. There's not really too many ways you can do it. There is a double skip you can do, but I just don't think that it's worth your time to really like try to do, and it ends up taking a lot longer, an extra minute or so. So I would just say this is the best way. Now for this next pull, you're going to go ahead and throw poison at the top left wolf, and then use your F ability to jump past them, use your E ability to stun them all once you walk a little backwards, and make sure you get all of them. Get your 3 hits, use your D to run past the sprays, get your 4th hit from behind, and then use your W, and keep using your Q to keep aggro. And I also use my R ability just because, you know, you get a little close and use your Q to attack them, and they might hit you once or twice, but go ahead, use your F to dodge the second spray, and then you'll have your stuns. Go ahead and stun them again, and they should be dead by then. And it's a pretty easy pull. You just got to be really careful that you stun all of them the first time with your E ability all at the same time. So you're going to want to go ahead and equip all the items that I have. Go ahead and pause the video on each item to see what passives and what abilities I have equipped. It's very important you use the exact same ones. The only difference is the chest piece for your R ability. You could use Enfeeble Aura or Taunt. Either one is fine. Only use Taunt if you think that you can't hold aggro, but your sword will hold aggro with your Q ability. But go ahead and aggro the boss. You can do 3 hits and then spray. I usually use my F to go ahead and dodge past that. And this, you'll want to use your Q, and then there'll be 3 hits, and then the boss is going to spit a poison pool at you. Go ahead and use your E, and then he's going to get 7 hits on you. Go ahead and use your W to cancel that ability, and then they spray again immediately after, so just run to the side. And then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, use your E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, use your W, and then go ahead and move out of that way, and then use your Q ability, and then 1, 2, 3, use your E ability, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, go ahead and use your W ability, and then move out of the way. This boss is very easy to do, but you just have to continuously keep doing the same thing, and sometimes you might be a little off on the timing, because if someone uses a frost beam, then sometimes it'll only be 2 hits before they spit the pool of poison, but you just gotta be careful with that, and you just need to repeat the same process over and over. It's not terrible, and you can kill this boss pretty easily. And if you need, sometimes use your D and F if you're taking way too much damage to, you know, stop the hits from doing all the damage that they do and killing you if the healer can't keep up. But the biggest part of this boss is just to remember that you need to use your E after 3 hits, your W after 7 hits, and then when you're running around to the side to avoid the spray, you need to make sure you go ahead and use your Q, because the Q is very important to keep aggro, and if you don't do it, then the boss is going to obviously lose aggro and then target your teammates. And there we have it. That's the Lurking Underneath map. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and if you made it to the end, I want to say thank you for all the support, and thank you for all the support from the previous videos as well. I've really been enjoying seeing that, and I can't wait to make more videos. Peace.